1996 Monte Carlo. Picked this thing up. Guy I work with, take the van with. I don't remember if he said he bought it new or not. But he had it for quite a while. I think he did buy it new. He drove it around for quite a while until he picked up a Cadillac. Drove that around, and then he gave this to his daughter. Daughter drove it for several years. It's got a lot of years, miles on it. Let's see here. What's going to show up? 178,000. I picked it up for $400. She was getting rid of it. She got a Jeep. Drove it for about 4 months and started leaking coolant. And the common problem on these, I think it's I want to say a 3.1. It says underneath here. I already popped the hood in anticipation for the video, because I'm sometimes smart that way. Yeah, 3.1 V6. Common problem with these engines is the intake gasket goes, and you leak water through the intake and into the block, which is what I figured was a problem. Went out, bought an intake gasket, and right before I get ready to do that, it started leaking real bad. I'm like, oh boy. Pull the oil dipstick out and it's milky. Well, what the hell? So, figured that means that the head gasket went. Good thing to know is that no, it did not mean the head gasket went. The head gaskets were still fine. The intake manifold gasket runs along the edge of the push rods. Push rods got to have oil, so they do coexist through the intake gasket. Most engines I've worked on up till this thing, that does not happen. You have an intake gasket and you have your head gaskets. Intake will get water through it, sometimes, not even always, but most of the time. Then your head gasket, of course, has water and oil. So that rule of thumb of water mixing with oil as a head gasket does not apply with this particular car. Front end damage here was like this when I got it. See on the hood. We had a bad snowstorm, I guess, when his daughter owned the car, the guy that I got it from, and she had to park it along the freeway. He came and got her home. He has a 4-wheel drive Jeep now. This was parked there, and somebody backed into it on the freeway, and then just drove off and left like assholes do. I'll give it a start here real quick. I'll try to get this back around here. Anyways, what I did to it is I pulled the heads off, had them resurfaced, replaced the head gaskets, intake gasket, all the stuff there. When I replaced it the first time, the head gasket and everything like that, I knew that it had some stuff in the oil, could sit and stuff like that, gasket material falls down in there. So I figured I was going to put, 20, 30 miles on it, make sure it had a good flush, and drain the oil, had everything ready to do that. I got just shy of where I was getting ready to change the oil, and oil filter plugged up with debris. No oil to the top of the engine, seized up a valve. It's like, okay. So I get back home, my wife was driving at the time, she gets it back home, parks it, start it up, loud tick out of the top end. I go and drain the oil, put some Marvel mystery oil in it to help lubricate it a little bit better and flush it out. It's kind of a flush system. Did that, and then it freed it back up, but it was still not running right. Still running pretty rough. So I figured I must have bent. I was hoping in my head, I was like, hopefully I just bent a push rod. Bought a new set of push rods. I don't know if it's still out over here. Might still be sitting over here on the workbench because I don't clean up after myself terribly well. If not, then I did junk it. I probably junked it. I must have junked it. But take it apart, and I just kind of grab the rocker arms. This one's tight, this one's tight, this one wobbles. Well, that's weird. Next one's tight, and another one wobbles. Okay. So I take the ones that are loose off. Well, that's a problem, you know. And one of them doesn't have a push rod there. Feel around inside, and it's fallen down inside the engine somehow. So one of the valves got stuck down. Push rod was able to fall loose. Do it that way. Go to the one that's wobbled. It's bent in half. The other one that wobbled was bent in half. Okay, replace the push rods. Thing runs like a champ now. Plenty of power, no ticking, no check engine light, nothing. Here it runs pretty quiet, so been happy with it. $400 car, can't complain too much on that. So, there was no music playing. Okay, anyways. Then my wife has done her best to grillify it. It's her car, she can do what she wants, I guess. Get a picture of some of her stickers up there. Love turtles. We have a turtle as a pet. One thing that I never quite understand is the fact that for some reason, every time, she loves Long Beach, every time we go somewhere, I'm the one that gets to drive this girly ass car. You know, we take it, and that goes on my truck. That's getting switched to my truck. It's supposed to be on my truck anyways. Support our troops. Yeah, so every time we gotta go somewhere, you know, we take the car, it gets better gas mileage than the beast over there. I drive it. Grillified. I gotta drive it. So that's the wife's car. I'll be doing the brakes on it here in a couple of weeks. Hopefully. And might do some footage of me doing the brakes on it. Lost the hubcap. That was funny. I was actually behind her when we lost it. Driving down the road about 50 and just kind of watching the road and watching her drive. And next thing I know, I just see like a frisbee go flying over the top of her car because it, you know, came off this passenger side and went all the way up and over and landed off on the oncoming traffic side of the road. I'm like, whoa, that was cool. That was kind of funny. So, anywho, this is the wife's car. Hopefully, don't have to do too much more work to it besides the, like I said, the brakes got to be done. Decide whether or not she wants to do a lot of work with it or not herself. So, alrighty, that's that.